He said, you're getting.
I flipped it.
I'll get the pay rate, that's what's left.
Okay, everyone, it is 1 o'clock and I'm going to call the September 17th Board of Commissioner meeting to order. Today, we're going to have the prayer by Commissioner Sarkella and the pledge by Commissioner Lee.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather in a free country and to go about our county's business. We ask that you would be with us during our meeting. Give us sound mind and wisdom to make good decisions for our friends and neighbors. And we also ask, Lord, that you would continue with this wonderful weather that you're graciously giving us to allow our farmers to get all their crops harvested. And all things come through your most gracious Son, in whose name we pray. Amen. Amen.
The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block.
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling.
Present.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella.
Here.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee. Here. District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart.
Here.
District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Here.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
If there are no corrections or deletions to today's agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Heberling to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes from September 3rd.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve our September 3rd.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberling, supported by Commissioner Moody, to approve our meeting minutes from September 3rd. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Minutes are adopted. You received your correspondence from Jody through email the other day. We're going to move into commissioner reports, and we are going to start with Commissioner Moody.
I had, first of all, I had Worth Township had a planning meeting where they had a public hearing on a new dog daycare and boarding place at the Humane Society there on Lakeshore Road. The public hearing, the public place. Yep. They voted yes on allowing them to go through with doing that. Even though there was quite a bit of public comment on that. I had Speaker Township. They're looking at ways to spend the rest of their ARPA money. Some of it is looking at new fire gear, a new Jaws of Life for the fire department, some computers for the office, adding some new lighting to the parking lot, and possibly hire someone to do a map of their cemetery. They changed their October, November meetings to Thursday, October 3rd and November 7th. And we're going to do some cleanup of some trees in the cemetery. That's about it. And they were concerned about they had some election security concerns. So I think they're going to talk to the sheriff, reference that. That's about it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, John. Evans?
I was unable to attend my local meetings.
Okay. I attended Marion Township meeting after our last BOC meeting. I vocalized in our last BOC meeting that I was hopeful they would approve the Constellation agreement related to the taxation issues of windmills. They did get that completed. So it's great news. It's the last township in our county, at least, that had to deal with that. Now the issue moves forward in the court system to get the judges and the approvals and the signatures. So we're probably still 30 days, a month or so away from that stuff being completed. I also attended Austin Township's board meeting last Wednesday, and they asked for my assistance to go up and talk to them about Public Act 233 because they're attempting to adopt a new solar and wind ordinance. They're aiming to move forward with that. That's all I had.
I attended the Brown City Council meeting, and the developer from Maple Valley Estates was telling us what he was planning on doing. He's going to have a mix of affordable housing and some new built. They're going to repave the roads and new light. They want to update the area, and they're hoping to start in 2025. Also, Brown City's looking into the contract for their garbage pickup. And then I attended Flint Township's meeting, and they're looking into technology for remote meetings, and they approved their election workers. That's it.
Thank you, Christine. Bill?
Port Sanilac was looking at their blight resolution, and they were having a park picnic at the lighthouse, the one that they acquired from the state, down by the lighthouse itself. CPS homecoming parade was going through there. They approved some KFC stuff with Tootsie Roll Drive, CFA report, and then also their water projects continuing to move forward. Applegate, their trucks and pumper passed inspections. The fire department had the fire safety trailer at the county fair, so they did some good work with that. Had a lot of folks come through it. Had a basketball hoop donated for their little park downtown, and then they're going through their sheriff agreement for their blight issues there as well. And then one of the trustees is having an issue with, apparently they allow chickens in town, but you can't be free range. So apparently these chickens were escaping and eating his tomatoes. So he took care of that, even though there's a big giant no hunting sign at the end of town. But really, he just scared them away with a BB gun, but that's what happened. And the chickens got so trained that every time he shook the gun, they would run away. He didn't have to shoot at them anymore. So that was the highlight from Applegate. Looking at Washington Township, there's been some drive-in issues, so they've had some events there that have created a lot of excess noise. So as a result of that, they've been talking with the sheriff department and looking at possibly some type of ordinance. Their columbarium has been completed at the cemetery, so they're looking at a fee structure for that. And then they purchased a new laptop. I will commend Nancy because Nancy got the township a good deal on the purchasing the laptop. So what she does, anytime any of the organizations around the county need, any municipalities need some electronic equipment, she can use the county's purchasing leverage to get them the prices that we're able to pay. Bridgehampton had a fire millage discussion on what's going on there because they approved that in their township. They have a new assessor, so they had to, there was apparently some things done with their previous assessor that weren't completed, so the corrective action was approved by the state that they took care of. They're also getting a new election printer, and then their longtime treasurer is going to be retiring after, I think, 28 years of service. And then Sand Lake Township water expansion is continuing with the village, so eventually the village's water will be coming through the township via Lexington as well. CFA there is moving forward, so all the documents have been signed for the fire authority. And the township is also handling all the water billing moving forward with Lexington Township as well. So they've upgraded their systems for that and they'll be able to do everything electronically. That's all I have.
Good. Thank you, Bill. Gary?
Thank you, Bill. I don't know if I can read that fast, mine, but I'm gonna try.
You want me to read it for you?
Yeah. So I'll start out. I've had 3 township meetings and a city of Sandusky meeting over the past couple of weeks, and happy to report that the Watertown Township has signed the agreement with Samsung for their solar energy. Moore Township, basically the status quo meeting. I gave them a report, monthly report, commission report, and then the city sold a building to a thrift shop. It used to be, I want to say, it wasn't Mary's Diner, it was an old restaurant, and then Snover. So there's a new thrift shop in downtown Snover. Custer Township, they're adding lights to their parking lot. And I do want to report that John Pannier, their current chairman, his last meeting is going to be in November, and he's stepping down. And he also serves on our county planning commission. So he's done a lot for our community, both him and his wife over the past probably 50, 60 years in our community. City of Sandusky last night, it was reported by Nordstrom that there's an airport meeting next week. Jenny Bissett, that served on the council, said there's a fire association meeting tonight. Dave Faber, the city manager, gave a report on the construction of M46 and M19. And also there was a motion made and passed last night. They're buying a used 2003 dump truck for the city. And I reported, talking to Nathan this week, I reported that the EDC grant that the county is helping the city with, we've got a bidder that bid on it, and so far the boxes are lining up. We're not completely done with that, so it's not a public announcement yet, but we're moving along with that. So right now it looks pretty positive. So that was for the 2 houses in Sandusky tore down. So End of my report. Thank you.
Good report, Gary. Thank you. Roger?
Okay, last Tuesday, I attended Marlette Township meeting. They had blight issues they discussed. They also approved 2 culvert replacements. And had quite a bit of discussion on a former property, Airbnb, which was a diesel repair shop. And it had been rented out for several years. That person has left and now they're trying to make a decision on what they're gonna do with it. How far to. And also the airport director reported that the east-west runway lights were out, not functioning, so they had somebody coming in to take care of those. Last night I was at Lamont Township. They approved some tree removal between the township hall and there's a new Mennonite church / school being built next door to clear the way for DTE to put new power poles in. They approved 2 culvert replacements in Decker and they set rates on FOIA requests. At their last meeting, they asked if I could find some information on rates. So I got them and sent them the next day and they've got those rates set. And their annual fire department hog roast is October 4th. And I guess you have to get there early or you don't eat. So that's it.
Good. Thank you, Roger. Appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
All right, thank you. I'll try to be brief. I know we've got a big agenda here. First, I wanted to touch base on the household hazardous waste event. Glad to see Commissioner Sartell is here. We took in a lot of chemicals and breathed in a lot of hazardous waste that day.
I was glowing for about 3 days afterwards.
I will say some of the things that came through, it's very good that these things are getting hauled away and out of our county because, I mean, it's just amazing to see the trailers of waste that people have on their properties. So there was 212 total cars who came through for waste. And the last I had heard, there was just over 300 residents for tires. So the best showing they've had in the last 5 years, or we've had in the last 5 years for residents. So the construction did not deter people. We did, as Gary noted, receive a bid that came to the EDC office for the tear down, the abatement and the tear down of the 2 homes in Sandusky. Some things are being vetted out with the construction company right now, since it is state funds through the land bank. There's some boxes, as he said, that have to be checked. So it's going through that process, but it appears as though that project will be moving forward here shortly. I did write a letter of support to a housing development project, as Christine noted, in Maple Valley Estates in Brown City. I think it could be positive, kind of tied in the potential development to some of the goals of our master plan. I think it would be a positive for Brown City and a positive for the county. So, and then lastly, next week I will be attending the MAC conference. So when I get back from that, I'll be able to report on any interesting sessions that were held at MAC. So that's all I have.
Very good. Any questions for Nathan?
Just a comment. I think it's great that hazardous waste program takes place and the stuff's being disposed of properly rather than dumped down a drain or whatever. So
I agree.
kudos to Joanne setting that up.
Is the largest level of funding that helps provide that through a grant?
So the millage funds help put that on. And then we do apply for a grant for the tire portion.
Okay,
But the millage funds go to the hazardous waste.
very good. Any further questions for Nathan? Comments? Hearing none, we're going to move on. At this time, I'm going to call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Seeing none, we're going to move on. We have 3 presentations today. The first one is the master plan award. So Santa County embarked on the process a while ago. We have the new 2024 master plan. We have Lisa Kenny and Scott Kenny and Denise Bush from the Planning Commission here. Nathan, do you want to fill us in on how all that went?
Thank you. If you don't mind, I'd like to, there's a nice award here, and I'll kind of go through, sit front and center here. It was received for the master plan. So I'll read, kind of put together a press release and a summary of this, and I think the best thing to do would just be to read through it. The St. Louis County Master Plan has been awarded the Daniel Burnham Prestigious Planning Award for the county's master plan by the Michigan Association of Planning
The initiative to update the Salem County Master Plan began in April of 2022 with officials choosing to collaborate with On Target Media for the project. Then On Target Media sought out a partnership with Beckett and Rader to assist in updating the previous county master plan. A master plan committee was formed comprised of local residents, business leaders, and local officials to review and analyze the project regularly as it was created. Town hall meetings and surveys were conducted to assist in gathering public thoughts and opinions during the creation of the master plan. All the time and effort that went into the final product has allowed our county to have a polished master plan that will serve the county for years to come. A jury of APA Missouri chapter professionals who reviewed the master plan noted the following. Planning for rural areas is often overlooked, and this plan is outstanding for addressing the inadequacy of planning profession in general. This plan does an outstanding job of providing county government and other municipalities in the county with a common roadmap for the future. The county would like to acknowledge the following individuals for their efforts on this project. Lisa Kenny of On Target Media, who led the project. Beckett and Rader Incorporated. The Salem County Planning Commission members, Scott Kenny, Denise Bush, Paul Cowley, John Kinnair, Janet Cargill, Gary Heberling, John Black, and Jeff Alexander. Salem County Master Plan Steering Committee members, Gertie Vandengore, Jason McConaughey, Joshua Robinson, Carl Ostentoski, Nathan Roski, Richard LaFembros, Dave Faber, Angie Wagester, Scott Kenny, Denise Bush, John Black, Gary Heberling, Jody Morris, and Rowan Brady. And the Salem County Board of Commissioners, John Black, Gary Heberling, Roger Ballard, Bill Sarkella, Christine Lee, Evan Zehart, and John Moody. And a special thanks to all the Salem County residents who came to our visioning session and those who answered surveys. Also to the Youth Advisory Council members who gave valuable input on what young people want and need in the future.
Very good. All set, Nathan. Good. You guys want to come up? We'll get a picture with the award. You too, Scott.
All right.
Pick your name tag.
Can you hold it?
Sure. I draw your name tag, Jack, in Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's you and my.
You guys.
I'm behind Gary now.
Yeah, we're good. Jump up. Crap. Put your hand up. I was gonna just stick my face up there. I'll pick Christine up, but what else she got some thoughts?
Photo bomb. Thank you for everything.
Oh, thank you.
Without you, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it, and it's fun seeing stuff happen, so.
It was really exciting to get to work with somebody on our master plan that was from Sanilac County, and you certainly brought that passion to this project, and this award is proof of that, so thank you very much.
And just so, you know, Lisa helped with the city of Marlette. She's you're our you're chairman of our city, what do you call it here in Sandusky?
Oh, chamber.
Chamber, yes.
Yeah.
She's a busy gal.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Next presentation is going to be the 2023 audit report, and we have Gregory Soul here. Gregory, welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you. I have a basic summary of my talking points here for the commissioners. Just to get started, again, my name is Greg Soul. I'm the partner in charge of the county's audit, and this is our second year doing the county's audit. Overall, the audit went well. So we, as part of our audit, we issued a couple of documents. We issued the auditor's financial statements that are prepared by management. Along with that is our report of independent auditors and our government auditing standards internal control report. We issued our board communication letter addressing all of the things that we as the county's auditors are required to communicate to you in charge of governance. And also the state filings for the Michigan Department of Treasury. All of those reports were filed timely with the state. Our opinion on the audit was an unmodified or a clean opinion on the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund of the county, the aggregate remaining fund information, and the aggregate discretely presented component units. Some of the component units of the county are audited by other auditors, and as part of our audit, we work with them in getting their reports and getting some information back and forth and rendering our opinion on the overall county. Our opinion also addresses management's responsibilities for the financial statements, for processing those transactions and putting systems and internal controls into place. And it addresses our responsibilities as the county's auditors to look at internal control, to assess the overall conclusion on the audit, and obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements accurately represent the underlying activity. The financial statements also contain required and other supplementary information, such as information on the county's pension and OPEB plans, budget to actual schedules, as well as combining fund information. Our required communications with the board, all of those communications are in the affirmative. There were no significant difficulties in working with management, no consultations with other independent auditors, no significant journal entries. No working with other individuals or other issues that may have come up during the audit. Our report did identify some significant audit risks that we have to consider as a part of every audit. Nothing came out of auditing those risks that were required to be communicated to you. The board report also identifies some significant estimates and sensitive disclosures. We audited each of those significant estimates, and we audited all of those disclosures in the financial statements as well. And on the internal control side, there's our government auditing standards report on internal control and on compliance with laws and regulations. Nothing came out of our testing that was required to be reported to the board. So all good results there. Some key statistics for the county: total net position was 14.9 million. That's separated out into governmental activities of 6.8 million and business type activities of 8.1 million. Component unit net position was 75.2 million, and the majority of that is the road commission. And there was an overall increase in net position of the county of 1.9 million. So that's broken out into governmental activities had an increase in net position of 1.6 million, and business type activities had an increase of 0.4 million, or about 360,000. On the general fund side, there was a total general fund balance of 2.98 million. 2.6 million of that is unassigned. The increase in the general fund balance was about 0.48 million, or 480,000. Always good to see the general fund balance increase. Total general fund revenues were 15.7 million. General fund expenditures were about 11.2 million. So you always want to look at the relationship between expenditures and the unassigned fund balance there of that 2.6. And then net other financing sources or uses, which was transfers in and transfers out net from the general fund, was a minus 4.1 million, or a net transfer out to other funds. Overall, good statistics on the general fund side. I'm looking ahead. There's a couple of accounting standards that are coming up, nothing too significant, but some standards around changes in accounting principles, accounting for compensated absences, and some other financial reporting standards that we've been discussing with management and that are also illuminated in our board report. Nothing that's going to really significantly affect the county and the accounting operations here, though. Overall, I appreciate all of the help by management and working with the county and the different county departments and county units. The audit went really well. We were able to get all our information and get through things efficient. Any questions?
Thank you, Vivian.
The accounting standards you mentioned, are those mandated through the state level or?
Yeah, great question. They are mandated by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, so they apply to all municipal organizations throughout the country. State of Michigan Department of Treasury expects that you're going to implement those GASB standards.
Any other further questions for Greg? Sounds like we got a clean bill of health on the audit, which is always great news to hear. So,
yeah.
Is there anything further for us?
Nothing further at this time.
Okay, no more questions. Appreciate you being here today.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I said.
What's that?
Best audit I've ever sat. Quick.
Tell them that. Comment was made, it's the best audit we've ever sat through.
Fast.
Oh,
And thank you to Finance Director Christie, our Treasurer Trudy, and our Administrator Nathan Roski. Clearly, you guys are the big players that are dealing with this, and it is you guys that are the reason why we have such a great audit presentation here today. So thank you for your work. Okay, we're going to move on to our last presentation today, and that is going to be from MSU Health and Nutrition staff. Welcome. See everybody.
Thank you. All right, I've got a couple handouts today for you. Excuse me. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is just a revised one from the got yesterday. Yeah, of course.
thank you, Mary.
You're welcome. Something? Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. So what you have in front of you is a summary of Senior Project Fresh and some other programs. But to start, my name is Mary Gilbert. I'm a community nutrition instructor. I am housed here in Sanilac County, but I do serve Huron County as well. That will reflect on some of the indirect and direct numbers that I have listed in this paperwork. But it was asked that I cover some of the Senior Project Fresh information with you, and that's what I'm going to do now. So Senior Project Fresh is a federally funded program that comes in through the state. I do show the flow of payment here. I receive $1,000 every year, or has previously been in the past from the Council on Aging. There are now six, because we got 2 new ones this year, approved markets here in Sanilac County that can accept Senior Project Fresh coupons. And they do spread out over the area of Sanilac County. As you can see there, I have listed addresses as well as times open, the months, and when they came to be, basically. So qualifications for participants and the purpose of Senior Project Fresh. So the purpose of this program is to support local farmers while also increasing fruit and vegetable consumption among our aging community. A participant must be 60 years or older, or 55 and older, and a member of a Michigan federally recognized tribe or urban tribal group. You must live in the county where you received coupons. However, those coupons can be spent anywhere in the state of Michigan. If you were to go to Marquette from Sanilac County and there was an approved vendor there, you could spend them there. I think on the report from 23, we had some that came in from Charlotte, actually. You must fall within the 185th percentile of the federally poverty level. There are notations here for this household size of 1, 2, and 3, what that looks like for income yearly as well as monthly. All participants must call me and select a distribution date. And I am booked out May through September, taking calls and planning all of those distribution days. So I handle the entire influx of participation. So I was asked to provide some redemption rates as well. The redemption rates here show the individual coupons, not the number of coupon booklets we received. So those are 2 different numbers. Further down, you'll see that I did match that flow. So the total coupons spent in Sanilac County in 2023 was 604. Coupons allocated to this county, there was 750. So that's making our total redemption rate for the year of 23, 80.67%. 200 of those 750 coupons were purchased locally from the Council on Aging. So information moving forward from 2024 to 2025. The Senior Project Fresh program was cut this year, so we did receive a reduced amount of coupons. So you can see that we received 110 coupon books that I distributed to Sanilac County this year. So 550 coupons to keep in the same flow of from before. So the flow of payment. The lead agency, MSU Extension here in Sanilac County, puts in the request. The payment is invoiced and billed to the Council on Aging. It is then paid and then the lead agency receives the coupons, and then I take and distribute them. So moving into 2025, Senior Project Fresh is going digital. I unfortunately don't have a overhaul of what that looks like at this time to report on. There are some focus groups that will be happening sometime in October or November. And I can talk to whoever may have questions after I go to one of those. So determined that the funds, the $1,000 that we received from the Council on Aging previously this year were allotted, we got to them a little too late. So they are going to save that $1,000 and just conjoin it with next year. So $2,000 will be purchased in coupon or for coupons in 25. Below this, I move into other efforts that I have in the county. And I'm really, really proud of these ones. They make my heart happy. But anyway, so Mama's Ice Cream or Eatery and Ice Cream Shop. Mama's Tent for Mamas. This was a SNAP Ed funded mini grant site where we created a breastfeeding space at a farmer's market to increase fruit and vegetable consumption around for breastfeeding mothers or persons that are breast or chest feeding. The mini grant provided all the materials. So we had bought the tent itself, the chairs, the breastfeeding pillows, the covers, and the burp rags. The reach at this time is undetermined because unfortunately it was destroyed by a storm, as is things that are outside in Michigan in that time of year. So the other PSE that I have going on that was mini grant funded was the Deckerville School and Community Garden. This is a revitalizing of the community garden where the students who are in the ag room actually will be getting garden-based nutrition education to reinforce proper nutrition in their diets, as well as get some hands-on activity in the garden. So that farm to table aspect is really where we're at with that. There are 18 high school students and 12 junior high school students for the fall semester that make this space part of their education through Deckerville schools. And the last food mile is the other one that I am working very closely in. The sites that receive last food mile produce are East Side Manor, Sunrise Village, and Sanilac Transportation. Every week on every Wednesday, each of those sites receives roughly 100 to 120 bags that are 3 pounds a piece of fresh produce, completely free. They go on the Sanilac Transportation buses, so anybody who rides the bus can just take a bag of fresh produce with them. We started on June 15th, so we've given out roughly 3,400 bags at 3 pounds a piece, making it 10,200 pounds of free produce at the last food mile. The council, or the Farm Food Policy Council, has graciously donated to the county roughly $30,600 worth. So you can see my other efforts here, Sanilac County Direct Education, 63. This is not inclusive of the numbers when I give my direct education for each of the Senior Project Fresh presentations. So you can add on more there for that. The same with the indirect education reach of 1,301 for Sanilac County in the fiscal year of 2024. Are there any questions about anything that I presented today or anything that I can clear up?
Can you place a monetary value on the coupons? In other words, like how much worth if I change it?
So each participant receives 1 coupon booklet. There are 5 coupons worth $5. So each participant gets $25 of coupons to go spend on Michigan grown produce.
You had indicated in here as well that there was actually going to be a reduction in the amount of those coupons available next year. Do you have any concerns related to that?
The reduction was from this year. Yeah, so we at the state, Susie Ginnick, who's our state program coordinator, she advocated for MSU lead agencies and did get us more coupons. We originally had 50, so she advocated us and got some more for us there.
Okay.
Mary, thank you for your report. Very impressive what you're doing for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to do it. Yes.
Mary, one question. You talked about people getting participants most likely for distribution.
Yes.
What does that look like? Say one of us knows of somebody who's looking to get these coupons. How do they have to directly call you? Is that what we should instruct people or tell people?
Yes.
Get a hold of you through MSU? Is that the only avenue? I mean, these aren't out there for people to pick up anywhere else?
Right.
Okay,
Yes, they will call me or
Yep.
email, whichever is their preferred method of contact. This year I have not advertised due to the decreased number of coupons that we did receive. But a lot of people that are part of this program do know to call me around April or May. Every distribution that I do, I call it a distribution day, but we do offer education on food safety, tips and tricks at markets, and obviously cover all of the stuff that I based synopsis of Senior Project Fresh with you today. So they can call me, they can get a business card for next year or write on the calendar, they often do, to call me around April, May, June time. And then we get the coupons out to them. But if somebody is interested, I do have, may be getting more, that is to be determined at this time. But those will have to be out before September 30th. So we will see where that goes. The coupons do have an expiration date of October 31st. That's part of the reason with the Council on Aging, instead of getting those coupons purchased this late in the year, that they actually did transfer the funds to next year, because most markets are beginning to close. And you can see on here that I did list each of the markets when they close. The Menagerie, Orchard, and Farm Market, they have already closed for the season. Last week was their last week. Mama's, to my understanding, will be closing up very, very shortly. But Croswell is open, Pelagus is open, and Marlette, of course, has closed as well for the season. So there is a time limit on the coupons as well.
okay. Is that the method that all counties use, to your knowledge? Is that people have to get a hold of somebody through MSU to get these coupons? I'm just thinking, is there a better way maybe to get word out there? Because I don't know how well known this is for people.
Right.
Yeah, so we do advertise traditionally, there could be different ways that we could address that. Traditionally, like for example, over in Tuscola, they call and the support staff is able to help them funnel those phone calls so that the person who is doing the work has more time to advertise and be where people are to teach them about these programs. Any more questions? Okay,
You're
perfect.
good.
Thank you so much for hearing me and asking questions. I appreciate being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to piggyback on Mary. I also work in the Health and Nutrition Institute, but my focus is food safety, as hers was more nutrition based. So this report I'm handing out, Carly comes every year and gives you guys an annual report of all of what MSU Extension does. I just wanted to share our health and nutrition so you could see the wide variety of programming we offer, not only in nutrition and food safety that Mary and I represent, but there's a lot of other things that go on. So my name's Lori Messing. I'm, like I said, a food safety extension educator. I'm based out of Huron County, but cover Sanilac as well as St. Clair and Tuscola. So I'm happy to be here and hopefully put a name to a face since I hop in and out of Sanilac quite a bit with my food safety programming as well. So this year already in Sanilac County, my programming from last year can be found on pages 4 and 5. And you'll see that our goal with our food safety education is to reach a wide variety of audiences. So from consumers to childcare providers, to entrepreneurs, to volunteers working in food pantries, or at church events or nonprofit organizations, and really anyone in between. So some of our large programming we offer is on safe home food preservation. We call it Preserving My Harvest. And there's been a big trend. It was already kind of starting before COVID for the pandemic, but during the pandemic and still after, we've seen quite an increase in people interested in growing their own food and gardening and then preserving that. And so one of our main goals with our safe home food preservation programming, which we do both online every Thursday all year round. For the most part, we do have some breaks and days here and there, but almost all year round on Thursdays, we offer 2 online classes. So people around the state, around the country join for a seasonal topic. So a couple weeks ago, it was on salsa. Tomatoes are still hopping and still abundant. What is this week's? I don't know off the top of my head what this week's is, but we base it seasonally. Sweet corn or pickling or venison in a few weeks. We'll do one on preserving venison, since that's not only a very popular topic in our rural area, but lots of areas around the state of Michigan. So we have those online opportunities. And then we also work with partners in our communities and counties who want an in-person program. And so I've done a lot of library programs. I really enjoy partnering with libraries. They have great space. Their patrons are always interested. The facilities are great. And so this year I've done a 4-part, and I have one more series over at the Marlette Library. I was in Croswell a couple weeks ago. We did a session over at Aiken Memorial Library. And so just great partners, and they promote the programming with their patrons, and then we come in and provide the education and lots of resources. So that's one of our biggest programs. As you can see, when you have time later, or just take a glance now, we have cottage food law programming for entrepreneurs. That's a very popular program in the state of Michigan, where entrepreneurs can prepare some foods in their home kitchens and then go ahead and turn around and sell those products at farmers markets or bazaars or, outlets like that. Can't sell everything. There's definitely guidelines on that cottage food law based on the Michigan law. And then, like I said, we do food safety education for child care providers and lots of other groups. So far this year in St. Louis County, I've reached with both direct programming face-to-face, as well as doing some outreach at, I was at the Port St. Louis Farmers Market one Friday afternoon. It was a beautiful day. I hadn't been down there in quite some time. So that was a great day. Lots of people coming through. I'm going to the St. Louis County baby shower this week and, reaching out with food safety education for pregnant and expecting moms and dads and caregivers. If you've been in the health department in this month of September at all, we have a display set up about safe home food preservation, so people can grab information on our classes, as well as our Michigan Fresh Fact Sheet, which are a resource and a program that we developed at Extension. And we have information on pretty much everything that grows here in the state of Michigan, from, peaches to venison to, any fruit or vegetable you can imagine. And each fact sheet tells you how to use it, how to store it, and how to preserve it, and usually has a safe preservation recipe included. So if you're around the health department, pop in there, you can take a peek at that. So just trying to outreach and, reach more consumers with all of the great stuff that we have, so people are aware of what we're doing. So I do have another program is ServSafe, which is the certification that food service establishments need as part of their license. So at least one person has to be a ServSafe certified manager at every food service establishment. So I offer those certification classes as well. So I have a couple more of those coming up this year. And so those numbers will grow, but so far it's been 600 people for St. Louis County for 2024. So just wanted to give you a little snippet of what we do, what I provide, since you don't see me all the time and I'm not here every day, but always actively working to create new partnerships, find, individuals and organizations to work with, and, provide the best education that we can do. So can I answer any questions? I know that was quick. I don't want to take all your time this afternoon, but
I have a quick question. So your ServSafe program, that's geared more towards restaurants, and somebody within that restaurant has to be ServSafe certified, right?
Well, it's any food service establishment. So it could be a school kitchen. It could be a VFW hall that has a licensed kitchen. Any place that has that licensed kitchen through the health department has to have at least one person ServSafe certified.
We've seen an increase in food trucks.
Yep.
Is that something else?
You too.
Okay, then
Yep.
that's a service you guys can
Yes.
provide to them.
Yep, I've had lots of food truck staff coming through over the past, like you said, the increase has gone up. So
Okay.
definitely we see them as well.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Is there one program you could specifically point at that you think reaches the most individuals out of what you do?
Do you mean in this county or?
Yeah, just say in this county in general.
Probably it'd be a tie this year between ServSafe and the food preservation, because I've had a lot of library classes.
Okay.
Statewide, our food preservation and our cottage food law are our two highest attended programs across the whole state.
Okay.
And then all of our programs are offered online as well. So if somebody, is in any part of the state and can't get to an in-person programming, or we're not able to offer it for a certain time period, there's always programming online. So,
Okay, great.
but yeah, I'd say those two are the biggest across the state and probably here as well.
Good to know. Thanks. Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for being here.
Please
Thank
reach out
you.
if I can ever be of assistance.
Thank you. Okay, that will conclude our presentations today. I see no need for 13A, 13B, or 14. There are no general resolutions, so we're going to move directly to committee reports, and we're going to start with Commissioner Ballard.
Oh, last week we attended the CMH program committee meeting. Basically, we just approved reports that are presented to us and passed on to the full board, which will be next week. Last Friday, I attended, Michigan Works, the finance committee, the workforce development board, and the governing board. Just status quo on that one as well. Parks, no meeting, a lot going on. Work has started on the Evergreen project, finally. I've been looking forward to this since 2019. So it's nice to see that going. I think once they get rolling, it's gonna happen pretty fast. We're finally progressing on the Lexington House addition. They're out there working on that as we speak. I hope to get over there tomorrow and check out the progress. The Forester House office and store project is complete. They got the gutters on last week, so that project is done. If you're over in that area, pull through there and check it out. It's really a nice addition to the park, having that all redone. And I believe that's about it. They've been busy at the parks. Halloween weekends are going on. They're booked 100% for the next couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
Camp, nice weather for it.
Yeah, they certainly have the weather for it.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you, Roger. Gary?
Mine will be real short. We, first of all, we had a personnel committee meeting this morning. John, I'll let you expand on that when it gets to you. And then, this afternoon, we have a county planning committee at 3:00.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. Bill?
Unfortunately, I didn't attend the recycling meeting after our meeting last time, but I did go to household waste and work that for 4 hours the other day. And I don't know what happened in the meeting, but I just assumed we weren't going to have one because we were all going to the household waste collection. I just want to just touch on that a little bit, just because I was amazed at the amount of material that came through there. When you saw them vehicles pull up with what was in it, it was just shocking to say the least. They did fill a semi-trailer full of tires and then just a ton of electronics. So the recycling has a few trailers, the ones we picked up from Huron County on the cheap a few years ago. And they're the tandem axle, pretty good sized covered trailers. One of those was supposed to be dedicated to electronics, and we got so much stuff, we had to start filling the second one. By the time it was done, 2 of them were full of the electronics. I guess recycled oil was big too as well. There's a lot of that came through. And I just want to commend Brooke from the office here that helped as well. There were some YAC members there, and then Joshua Robinson also from the Community Foundation was there working. So I just want to touch base on them as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. Christine?
Yesterday, I attended the Council on Aging. Mary was there to present the program on the senior project Fresh. Also, the Deckerfield Mill site has closed, so the Meals on Wheels are being now prepared in Bad Axe. They're looking for drivers, and they might have a spot, new kitchen that they'll be able to do it more locally, but that's still in the works. Today, I attend the Child Abuse Prevention Council. The 24-25 budget was set. They have 2 new positions, a full-time executive director, and they're looking for a child life specialist. The baby pantry are switching over to the season clothing. Camp Empowerment Day was set for next year is April 21st, 2025. September 20th is the community baby shower, and September 26th is the Project Connect. And then I had a health board meeting. Oh, Great Start Collaborative has a new director, Julie Albright, and they're moving from the health department to the ISD building, so all their people are together. And then I had a health department meeting this morning. They're working on the Maple Valley project. They're looking at security cameras, a new digital sign, doing the floors. They're going to take out the old tile, the old carpet, and they're going to have a company that's going to come and level the floors off, and then they're going to polish the concrete, and then they can decide what they're going to do with it later, but they'll be like at Walmart and stuff to polish concrete. And they got the proposed budget for fiscal year 2025. Also, the baby pantry is now going to start paying rent. They used to pay rent, but they've been using the Maple Valley space, and they're going to start paying rent now, and they're going to retroactive back to when they start coming. And Maple Valley has 2 renters now that are paying. And that's All I have.
Thank you, Christine. Bill and I have information technology later today. There's also a planning commission meeting later today. Earlier today, the personnel committee met and we approved filling, there is going to be a vacancy in the register of deeds office and we simply approved backfilling that position. So that's all I have. Evan?
I had med control last month. They had a decent amount of students pass a national registry for EMS and paramedics, so that's going good there. They did have someone hack their Chase account from out of state and try to cash a fraudulent check. It got flagged immediately, so nothing happened there. And now they just created a whole new account, so that won't happen again. I had HTC Finance last week. It was just approving, the finances from this past week to back in April. Nothing out of the norm there. And I have HTC tomorrow. And Community Collab got canceled this coming Thursday.
Good. Thank you, Evans. John?
I just had, last Friday, Michigan Works with Roger, and there's really nothing to report from them.
Okay, very good. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. I see no unfinished business. We're going to move directly into new business. Today, that will start out with FA 133-24, approval of 2024 current claims.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2024 identified on the accounts payable report dated September 10th, 2024 for the general bank account in the amount of $263,193.30.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 134-24, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 135-24, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged to August 2024.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged August 2024 as follows. $760,116.21 ACH payments, $618,349.97 in checks for a grand total of $1,378,466.18.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 136-24, authorization to post and fill custodian position.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the posting and filling of a custodial position at a pay grade 1, step 1.
Support.
There's a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion?
This is strictly custodial position.
Correct. Yep. Any further discussion related to FA 136-24? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 137-24, approval of memorandum of understanding for central dispatch.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby approves a memorandum of understanding between San Luis County Board of Commissioners and San Luis County Central Dispatch for the purpose of expediting the filling of vacancies at Central Dispatch and further authorizes the board chairman sign the necessary documents.
Support.
Was that Gary? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 138-24, approval of Ottawa County Juvenile Detention Bed Rental Agreement.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the Ottawa County Juvenile Detention Center bed rental agreement, further authorizes the board chairman sign the agreement.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 139-24, award and authorization of Lexington Park House concrete bid.
San Luis County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes Martin Concrete Contracting Lexington the bid at a cost not to exceed $57.30 for immediate approval for the purpose of concrete work at Lexington Park with funding from the Parks Millage.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Finally, today we have NFA 020-24, acceptance of the 2023 audit report.
Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners hereby accepts the 2023 audit report as presented.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Lee to approve the 2023 audit report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That concludes new business. At this time, I'll call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments? Seeing none, there's no need for closed session, approval of closed session minutes, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn our BOC meeting at 1:55. Support, a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Lee to adjourn at 1:55. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are